The following. Hey, since Disney World will be requiring reservations for theme park visits to control crowds, do you think this is something Disneyland will adopt for all guests and require of all of the annual pass holders? We now know that as Disney World comes back online for a July 11th reopening for Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom theme parks, July 15th for Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, that they are requiring reservations of everybody to enter their theme parks. So that way they can manage the capacity a little bit better, and that includes their annual pass holders. Disneyland being an annual pass holder bastion where they have probably close to 1 million, and that is not an exaggeration, close to 1 million annual pass holders in Southern California who make up the majority of the day-to-day audience at Disneyland. Knowing that, Tyler, do you anticipate reservations coming online for all annual pass holders and all guests at Disneyland?
1,000%. That's definitely happening.
1,000?
Yeah.
A lot of percentage points.
Went through the roof. That's a lot of percentage, I know, but it definitely is happening, like 1,000%. So I've got nothing more to say about that. It's definitely going to happen.
You're convinced of it. All right.
Yeah.
Katrina, you on board? 1,000% worth?
1,000%, apparently. That's like the cap. I mean, again, like you said, there's so many annual pass holders out there. And I feel like once Disney opens, everybody's going to try to bum rush into the happiest place on earth because, I mean, they need to feel that sense of like, you know, I don't know, happiness again, that like you lose whatever's on the outside world right now and then just escape your problems and then just head to Disneyland. And honestly, like I miss my castle. Like I'm going to be one of those people probably that's going to just like walk in and just start crying because I'm just super stoked. So they have to control it somehow.
Well, in the meantime, you can look at that castle behind you, I think.
Yeah, it's not quite as big. I mean, you know, not that we have a massive castle at Disneyland either way, but it is, you know, and it's also not the right castle.
That's true.
It's Cinderella's castle.
Yeah, you miss your Sleeping Beauty castle, your intimate little castle.
The pink one.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
The one that's supposed to be pink, not the one that was repainted pink.
Yeah, that's true. They're both pink now, kind of, right? So
don't even get me started.
No reason to start a fight. Not here. Not now. My gosh. Garrett, hey, when it comes down to, you think Disneyland, you subscribe to this idea 1,000% worth that they are going to require reservations of absolutely everybody, including APs?
1,000%. That's child's play. I'm saying 3,000.
Whoa!
3,000.
Don't say 3,000.
I love you, 3,000.
No, but in reference to your castle, I remember, this is a little segue. Yes, I think they're going to do this reservation system because Disneyland, like you pretty much your only separation from the outside world is Harbor Boulevard pretty much and a parking garage. So they are going to need this to try and maintain that because I don't know, I just imagine it being some sort of like zombie horror, like, oh, give us the magic. But I remember one time I was at Disneyland and I was walking around just enjoying all the magic because it's the happiest place on earth and all that. And then some girl was like, excuse me, like, do you come here? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, where's the castle? I'm like, that is the castle. And she's like, no, the really big one. I'm like, no, that's the only castle here. Are you thinking of the tall white one? They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that one's in Florida. And I'm like, Mom, we came to the wrong one. And I'm like, this part's better anyway. But
how do you mess that
whatever.
up? Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be required, and I'm sure the Walt Disney World reservation system will be sort of the test phase of what they're going to do because Disneyland, like I said, that one road can only keep so many people out. So it'll be interesting to see how Disneyland does it because, yeah, there's a lot of diehards out in Los Angeles and California that love Disneyland a lot more than Floridians love Disney World.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder myself when it comes to trying to manage this. I completely subscribe to the idea too, guys, that reservations for all is probably exactly what's going to happen because they have to, given the size and scope of how small Disneyland is and how many annual pass holders no doubt want to show up all at once to see their park again. But I think I'm a little bit more worried about how many annual pass holders are going to be upset with this process because with capacity, being quoted as potentially 30% of what normally is allowed in. In Disney World, 30% is a lot more than what you would find inside of Disneyland Park, just due to the sheer size of everything. I know that when it comes to annual passes, producer Kurt and I have the annual pass where you already make reservations, where you already book out in advance what you'd like to do in terms of date. And so we've already sort of gotten used to it. And I've looked at it as a positive because typically, and I think I mentioned this before, but typically when you see a date coming up that is shaded blue, that means that you have to make a reservation. There are some days that are green where it's completely acceptable to just walk in. But I would see days that were shaded blue where you had to make a reservation. And then occasionally you'd see days that would be blue and blocked out, meaning you can't make a reservation. But the blue days that I would see would kind of give me an indication that they're already anticipating that this day is going to be very crowded. And so I would just choose not to go. And, as a local, as an annual pass holder, it's nice to have that luxury, certainly. But I think that we might see some headbutting when it comes to the annual pass holder base in Disneyland, because this really is a locals park. This really is a place that people are very territorial about in terms of being a locals destination. Do you think that there's going to be some fury? I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's acceptable. But Katrina, do you think there's going to be some annual pass holder pushback when they realize, wait a minute, I have the most expensive pass, and yet I'm required to make a reservation. I can't even go when I want?
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like in my mind, I'm already seeing this play out in like a Broadway theme, and like the 365 annual pass holders, and then like your annual pass holders are like doing this cool dance, and then they're like, no, this is my park. Anyway.
Very West Side Story.
I think, thank you.
Yeah.
That's right. So I think, because again, with 365, because we have the annual pass for, Disney World and Disneyland, and we paid that premium price for it, and we go to Disneyland more often, and now we have to do like this, we have to reserve a day to go, when before we would just go like, oh, well, let's just go because our friends are going to go. Let's just do a last minute, head over to Disneyland kind of thing. And now it's like we have to pre-plan it. Also, what are they going to do for us? Because now I feel like a rude person, but like, what are they going to do for us?
Mm-hmm. They're going to give us magnets.
Because they don't even give us magnets at Disneyland. They give us like buttons that we can't do anything with.
Some magnets.
Anyway, but like what my point is, now how many times are they going to allow us to book a month? Because they're going to have to put caps on how many people book per month. So if we have a 365 pass and we only could book like, once a week or twice a week, that's not really a 365, is it? So it's just, I don't know what they're going to try to do to kind of make up for it. Cause I mean, I don't want a button. I want like, something else.
I mean, I got to say that there's, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're still offering refunds, right? So
yeah.
If you don't like this, then get a refund.
No.
I want my Disneyland.
I want to go to Disneyland.
I mean, it's amazing to me. I've seen a couple people online talking about Disney World and stuff too, and just how they don't want to go. They need the Disney magic to come back and stuff. And I'm like, does nobody care about safety? I mean, I just want people to be healthy, and I just feel like it's an incredibly selfish thing to not worry about your safety and everybody else's. So. If you don't like it, get a refund and get out of the park, because I don't like your attitude anyway, to be honest. So,
but my point is like, we paid for 3. I mean,
no, again, I know your point. I know your point.
I
get your point. I don't mean to squash your point. I agree with you. I think a lot of people will feel that way.
Don't squash my point.
And it does suck to have that pass say 365 days and then it's not anymore. I'm not saying that's cool. I'm not excited about that, but I am going to face that because I want people to be healthy, and I think we need to do what's right for
I wonder if they're going to open up like certain amounts, so like maybe the 365 get like a better chance of getting those days than other people get those days. So like passes like yours where you had a certain amount a month that you can go, they have like 30 days in advance they can reserve, and then we have like a better chance of getting those days that we wanted.
Interesting.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you guys raise great points, and I think that everyone needs, for the sake of perspective, to understand that nothing is normal, right? Nothing is how it used to be. Nothing is the way that we used to appreciate and enjoy it. Everything has changed in a very short amount of time, and Disney has to adapt to it. And it should only be temporary. At least it sounds that way. And so, trying to deal with the temporary restrictions can be a struggle. Completely understand that, but nothing is normal. Everybody's making sacrifices here and there. And I know that Disney will probably give any sort of accommodation possible to make an annual pass worth it. But I think that the whole ticket structure is going to be very different moving forward. And potentially, these annual passes, I think that we might see that in the near future, where maybe potentially all annual passes, maybe this is what they've been waiting for, where all annual passes become reservation based only. Because I know that this annual pass holder base, as I had mentioned, it's about 1 million people. That annual pass holder base, when they all decide to show up, that's a problem, and it taxes out parking, and it's completely overwhelming to the resort system. And I think that the experiment with the current annual pass, the one that Kurt and I have, that allows you to make that reservation, I think that's an experiment anyway, to try and see if they can better manage the annual pass holder base. And now this might just give Disney the overall excuse to institute that across the board, because a place like Disneyland kind of needs it. And if you've ever been in the parks when all the annual pass holders do decide to show up, just because maybe it's a one-day only event, or maybe it's something where it's an exclusive experience, they all show up. And it can be absolutely maddening. You drive around for hours trying to get to a Disney parking space because they've run out. You do your best to wait 30 to 45 minutes to get on a tram to be taken to the entrance plaza, only to wait another 45 minutes to just get scanned into the park. It can be very taxing for anybody trying to take that trip when you're an annual pass holder and everybody else has the same idea that you do. So perhaps we will see more of a reservation type system in the near future for all annual passes, but at least temporarily it sounds like that might just be the thing that does happen across the board. We wait to see what Disney has to share.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.